So in responsible AI, there are many different metrics and there's no settled, finalized set of metrics for everybody to use. But for the purposes of this, I'll try and focus on a couple. And then it's very important that for the business, for their use case, that we'd be able to talk more specifically about their needs and what they're trying to solve. But looking at machine learning fairness metric, we could think of two, and I'm choosing two because at least to get started, it's very important to understand how fairness metrics can sometimes be in conflict with one another. So an example people may have heard about would be demographic parity. So demographic parity is about getting from groups like equal parity of people from different groups, but it may not be dependent on sensitive attributes. An example of this is if you are, let's say, hiring for a job and you're seeing people from two different universities, demographic parity may say that you get 50% from both university. That's equal now, 50-50 from both universities. But you don't know if they're qualified, you don't know how suitable for your role is, you don't know any sensitive attributes of the people in there. Or is there any maybe demographic identity attributes that are in there? Do you want different skills, different types of people, or anything like that? You don't know anything, you're just saying there's two universities, I get 50-50. That's demographic parity from across those groups. But a fairness metric you may actually consider more of would be something that we call equal opportunity or equality of opportunity, which is more focused on, is there a sensitive attribute that would make people more or less useful for my outcome? So again, just to break that down, it could mean if you're hiring people, you want people with a financial services background who studied math or economics or otherwise related in university. So maybe university A specializes in that. So maybe 70% of the people coming out of that university are specialized and qualified in an area. And university B, they don't specialize in it. It's just a module. So maybe only 10 or 20% of people are coming from that with the relevant skills. So instead of going 50-50, which is not going to get you that qualification that you want, the equality of opportunity is more that who is the opportunity based on their qualification. So we actually want more from university A than university B because of that difference in qualification. Just an example of the types of different fairness metrics that we may be looking at and what you're trying to solve for. Generally, as a very basic starting point of how to improve fairness metrics is really by looking more at your data to start, then you're looking at your model, then you're looking at your output, and then you're looking at how do I test that now it's working as intended, as well as then who's building your data set, your model, and otherwise, because usually more diverse demographics of people building your model are more easy then to identify the different fairness aspects. So it's a really complex question as there's all these different moving parts, but generally starting at the data, it's about ensuring that your data is representative of the users and the people that you want to capture in your model. So spending a lot of time analyzing the data is one of the best ways. It's not the only way and it's insufficient by itself, but one of the best ways of trying to improve your fairness metrics is looking at your data and making sure it's representative of users, and then making sure that that carries on through the model. So a long answer, but it even gets longer as you start getting into use cases in specific companies. And that's where we'd want to be able to help out, is by understanding the outcomes and use cases, and T3 being able to identify the appropriate metrics depending on the appropriate outcome for a client or partner.